In recent weeks, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have found themselves at the center of controversy once again. Their latest actions have sparked widespread debate and, in some circles, outright embarrassment. From questionable public appearances to puzzling decisions, the couple's behavior has been scrutinized and criticized. Join us to discover their most recent missteps and explore the reactions from the public and media alike. We start the video with this most embarrassing incident for Harry and Meghan. On September 25, 2024, the couple made headlines yet as they attended 1880s Live, a fundraising event hosted by none other than Hollywood legend Kevin Costner at his lavish $26 million Santa Barbara estate. The event, brimming with A-list celebrities and the crème de la crème of Hollywood society, was a spectacle of glamour and wealth, but it was Meghan's unexpected and awkward interaction with a microphone that stole the spotlight, causing quite a stir. Harry, dressed in an all-black ensemble that many remarked made him look like he was auditioning for a Johnny Cash tribute act, attended the event with his wife Meghan, who sported a rather unusual outfit, a poncho meets short-sleeved coat number. The choice of attire raised eyebrows, particularly since the evening temperature was a comfortable 70 degrees. The New York Post humorously noted the oddity of her outfit, pointing out how it stood out in an event marked by sophisticated fashion. As Harry and Meghan posed for photos with other high-profile guests, including Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres, and Portia de Rossi, one couldn't help but notice that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were among the least wealthy in this star-studded gathering. The New York Post didn't shy away from this observation, highlighting that despite years of lucrative deals and projects, Harry and Meghan's net worth was a mere fraction of that of their Hollywood counterparts. The irony was not lost on anyone, as the couple, who have spent the past few years trying to carve out a new identity in America, were standing shoulder to shoulder with some of the wealthiest and most influential figures in the industry. However, the real talk of the night wasn't about wealth disparities or questionable fashion choices. It was a cringe-worthy moment involving Meghan and a microphone that quickly became the center of attention. As the evening progressed, there was a moment when a woman on stage was about to speak. Meghan, ever eager and perhaps overestimating her importance at the event, mistook the woman's movement as an invitation to take the microphone. With a bright smile and enthusiastic clapping, Meghan reached out to grab the mic. She even went so far as to place her hand on the microphone, fully expecting that she would be given the opportunity to speak. Prince Harry, who was standing just behind her, watched the scene unfold, with what could only be described as a mix of bemusement and discomfort. The woman, however, had other plans. Completely ignoring Meghan's gesture, she moved right past her without even a glance in her direction. Meghan, realizing the mistake, awkwardly placed her hand on the woman's shoulder in what seemed like an attempt to salvage the situation or perhaps to show solidarity. But the woman, either unaware or unfazed by Meghan's presence, brushed her off and continued on her way, leaving Meghan to deal with the aftermath of the embarrassing interaction. The moment was undoubtedly awkward, not just for Meghan, but for everyone who witnessed it. The brief yet telling incident seemed to underscore a recurring theme in Meghan's public life: her apparent belief in her own grandiose importance. One has to wonder what was going through her mind in that split second when she reached for the microphone. Did she have a speech ready to go? Was she expecting to be invited to share her thoughts with the audience simply because of who she is? Or was it a spontaneous reaction, a momentary lapse, where she forgot that this was not her stage to command? Whatever the case, the incident was undeniably bizarre and left many questioning Meghan's sense of self-awareness. The Duchess of Sussex, who has often been accused of overestimating her role in various settings, seemed to have misjudged the situation entirely. The look on her face as the woman walked away with the microphone spoke volumes: surprise, confusion, and perhaps a touch of embarrassment. Furthermore, in another video that surfaced, the footage shows Meghan fidgeting, and making various attempts to draw attention to herself. At one point, as Prince Harry is interacting with a first responder, Meghan's attention is drawn to a gesture from the man. As he pats Harry on the back, Meghan's eyes light up with the mistaken belief that he is reaching out to her. Her excitement quickly turns to disappointment as she realizes that the man is engaged in conversation with Harry. While Harry proceeds to shake the man's hand, Meghan attempts to salvage the moment by turning to a nearby woman, whom she had previously tried to steal the microphone from. Meghan tries to look engaged in a conversation with this woman, placing a hand on her shoulder in an attempt to draw her into a dialogue. However, the woman in pink remains uninterested and continues her conversation, leaving Meghan standing there awkwardly. Her attempts to insert herself into Harry's conversation with the first responder are equally unsuccessful. Meghan's behavior seems to reveal an underlying desperation for validation and attention, further accentuated by her seeming obliviousness to the lack of interest from those around her. Things take a turn for the worse when another clip shows Harry adopting an oddly nervous demeanor as he approaches one of the event hosts. His mannerisms are described as reminiscent of a cartoon villain scheming with glee, as he rubs his hands together in a way that suggests an eagerness to make a move. The host gestures for Harry to take the microphone, but Harry instead awkwardly motions for it to be handed to Meghan, who is seen standing by, waiting for some form of acknowledgement. This move is met with a mix of awkwardness and laughter from the crowd. The host declines Harry's request, opting to laugh off the situation, while Meghan stands by, clearly disheartened. The scene unfolds on stage, adding to the level of discomfort experienced by those watching. The situation is exacerbated by Harry's apparent lack of confidence, as he seems to rely heavily on Meghan for support, further compounding the awkwardness of the moment. The video paints a picture of Harry and Meghan struggling to assert themselves in a setting where they clearly feel out of place. Despite their royal titles and high-profile status, their actions suggest a disconnect from the social dynamics of the event. Harry's reluctance to speak for himself and his reliance on Meghan to take center stage create a scenario ripe with second-hand embarrassment. Meghan's history of delivering lackluster speeches and her tendency to make self-centered remarks about her personal life only adds to the cringe factor. The criticism extends to Meghan's public speaking, with past instances where her comments about mundane details of her life, such as settling her child at home or her recent flight, are seen as trivial and unworthy of attention. This ongoing pattern of behavior, coupled with her attempts to dominate the spotlight at inappropriate moments, contributes to a growing perception of her as unlikable. As the video circulates, it adds to the narrative of Meghan's struggles to fit into elite circles and manage her public image. The upcoming video titled, "Why Meghan Markle is Unlikable, the Mask Slips," is anticipated to delve further into these issues, exploring how her actions and persona contribute to the negative perception that surrounds her. Meghan's reaction was telling. As Harry approached Costner, Meghan initially wore a broad, enthusiastic smile. However, this smile quickly vanished, and her true feelings became evident when her facade slipped. The contrast between her forced cheerfulness and her sudden shift in demeanor was striking, highlighting a moment where her public mask slipped to reveal her genuine emotions. Adding to the awkwardness, Meghan made an unusual effort to insert herself into the ceremony. Observers noted that she felt the need to pick up the award from the table and hand it to Harry, who was then supposed to present it to Costner. This act, seemingly minor, underscored Meghan's desire to be involved in the proceedings in any way she could, as if she was desperate to find a role for herself in the event. Another aspect of Meghan's behavior that caught her attention was her constant physical proximity to Harry. She was seen placing her hand on him frequently, directing him even in situations where it seemed unnecessary. This behavior, which appeared to involve pushing him around and guiding his movements over relatively short distances, gave the impression that she was trying to assert control or influence his actions. The most notable moment, however, involved a particularly bizarre interaction. As Harry engaged in conversation with a group of people, Meghan's expression shifted dramatically. Initially, she looked at him with a loving gaze, but this quickly morphed into a piercing glare. It was almost as if her loving wife program malfunctioned, revealing a raw and unfiltered frustration. Meghan's intense stare then shifted to the person Harry was speaking with, and she abruptly inserted herself into the conversation, effectively taking over the interaction. Harry, meanwhile, seemed visibly annoyed by this sudden change. He was left standing there, somewhat resigned, as Meghan took control of the conversation. His discomfort was palpable, highlighting a dynamic where Meghan often seemed to overshadow him despite his status. When talking about Harry and Meghan's embarrassing moments, we can't ignore their post-Invictus failure. During the Invictus Games, Meghan's conduct was notably peculiar. She seemed to turn the spotlight away from the purpose of the event and towards herself. Reports described how she would push Harry aside to gain attention, a move that appeared to prioritize her own visibility over the significance of the games. Additionally, Meghan's decision to make a boy in a wheelchair a focal point of her photo opportunities was seen as exploitative and insincere. Her awkward attempt to lead a military parade only added to the overall discomfort of her behavior. Her actions seemed to detract from the event's original intent, making it more about her personal publicity than about supporting the veterans. The aftermath of the Invictus Games did little to improve Meghan's public image. The National Enquirer's magazine spread, headlined, "It's All About Me Again," further fueled the controversy. The publication's choice of words, calling Meghan a cloth horse, a term used to describe someone overly concerned with their fashion, seemed to underline a growing perception of her as someone more interested in her appearance than in genuinely engaging with charitable causes. The Enquirer's critique highlighted Meghan's extravagant fashion choices, including a $320,000 outfit, suggesting that her focus on high fashion had overshadowed her commitment to the event's purpose. The term cloth horse reflects the criticism that Meghan, despite her efforts to be seen as a style icon, often chooses outfits that are deemed inappropriate for the context of charity events. Instead of blending into the background to support the cause, her fashion choices and desire for high-profile attention appear to draw focus away from the charitable objectives. Some commentators have suggested that Meghan might be better suited for high-fashion events like the Oscars or the VMAs, where the emphasis is on glamour rather than charity. The video footage from the Invictus Games, which has circulated widely online, offers a revealing look at Meghan's behavior during the event. The footage captures her manic and erratic actions, which seem out of place in the solemn context of the Games. Meghan is seen repeatedly looking around, seeking reactions and attention, which suggests a lack of focus on the event itself. Her behavior is described as resembling ADHD-like symptoms, where she struggles to maintain attention and appears more concerned with garnering personal attention than with the significance of the event. One particularly odd moment captured in the video shows Meghan flashing open her blouse while searching for anyone who might be paying attention to her. Her attempt to draw attention is met with a lack of response from those around her, further emphasizing her disconnect from the event's atmosphere. The footage also includes an unsettling instance where Meghan seems to talk to herself, mumbling, "Stop it," which adds to the perception of her as being out of touch with the situation. Her clapping along with the crowd while continuously scanning for interaction further underscores her preoccupation with self-promotion rather than engaging with the event's purpose. In addition, the failure of Archetype's Spotify was also an equally embarrassing event for this couple. The CEO of Spotify recently spoke to the BBC, providing insights into the deal and the podcast's lackluster performance. According to the CEO, the initial promise of the $20 million deal was to create a platform that would offer something innovative and valuable for listeners. Unfortunately, the execution fell short of these expectations. Meghan's podcast, described as consisting largely of breathy word salad, failed to capture the innovative spirit Spotify had hoped for. The CEO admitted that the project did not meet the company's financial or qualitative expectations, leading to its eventual discontinuation. The CEO's comments were diplomatically phrased, but the underlying message was clear. The podcast was not deemed a worthwhile investment. The CEO acknowledged that Spotify aimed to provide a platform that would excite consumers and offer new opportunities for creators. However, the reality of the situation was that the podcast's content and impact did not justify the substantial financial outlay. One of the key issues with the Archetypes podcast was reportedly Meghan's difficult working style. Sources indicated that Meghan frequently requested changes late in the editing process, complicating production efforts. Additionally, Prince Harry's contribution to the podcast was minimal. He failed to present a clear concept or direction for the show. At one point, he allegedly suggested interviewing high-profile figures such as Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, and Mark Zuckerberg about their childhood traumas, a pitch that left executives puzzled and concerned about its feasibility. The project's struggles led to Spotify executives branding Harry and Meghan as lazy and difficult to work with. The term grifters was used to describe their approach, suggesting a perception that they were more interested in leveraging their celebrity status for financial gain than in creating genuinely engaging content. In the wake of the cancellation, Harry and Meghan attempted to portray themselves as exploring new opportunities with other audio companies. Their efforts to make it seem as if Spotify were just one of many options were viewed as somewhat disingenuous given the scale of their deal and the expectations involved. This situation highlights the broader challenges Harry and Meghan have faced in their post-royal careers, particularly in the realms of media and content creation. The ambitious $20 million deal with Spotify, which was initially seen as a significant endorsement of their potential, has ultimately been marred by these issues. The cancellation of Archetypes serves as a stark reminder of the difficulties they have encountered in translating their public image into successful, financially viable projects. In addition to the Spotify controversy, other aspects of their public and professional life have come under scrutiny. For instance, Meghan's appearance at the Invictus Games and her behavior during that event have been criticized for overshadowing the event's purpose with her personal agenda. Similarly, the National Enquirer's coverage of Meghan's fashion choices and her tendency to prioritize style over substance has contributed to a growing narrative of dissatisfaction with her public persona. Looking ahead, more content is expected to delve into these issues, including a video discussing their 2021 New York City school visit, which was reportedly shallow and criticized for its lack of meaningful engagement. The ongoing scrutiny and commentary around Harry and Meghan's endeavors reflect a broader debate about their roles and impact in the public sphere, revealing the complexities and challenges of navigating high-profile careers outside the royal family. In analyzing Meghan Markle's behavior in various public settings, a recurring theme emerges: her apparent need to control and overshadow those around her, including Prince Harry. A recent clip from a lunch with the Minister of Defense exemplifies this dynamic in a particularly striking manner. During the event, Harry is seen helping a woman up the steps, which is a gesture of courtesy and respect. However, Meghan's actions during this moment reveal her tendency to exert control. As Harry assists the woman, Meghan leans in front of him, seemingly to scrutinize who he is helping. Her actions suggest a keen interest in asserting her influence over the situation. Instead of acknowledging the woman or offering any assistance, Meghan directs Harry to stand beside her, disregarding the woman's own attempt to position herself appropriately. The woman's gesture to indicate where she wants to stand is met with Meghan's indifferent smile, leaving her in an awkward position at the edge of the platform. This incident highlights Meghan's preference for asserting dominance and maintaining control, even at the expense of courtesy and consideration for others. This behavior is part of a broader pattern observed in Meghan's interactions. She is often seen using what some call her claw of control to direct Harry's movements. This physical manipulation goes beyond affectionate gestures, showing a clear intent to control his positioning and actions. On several occasions, Meghan has been noted to keep a hand on Harry's back, not as a gesture of affection, but as a means of steering him where she wants him to be. This dynamic has been evident in various settings, from their royal engagements to international events, including their visit to Nigeria. Another example of Meghan's controlling behavior can be seen in a video where she appears to act as if she is the main attraction. Clad in what some have described as a VMA club outfit, Meghan stands directly in front of Harry, who visibly tries to shift her aside. Despite his attempts, Meghan only moves slightly, leaving him visibly annoyed and causing discomfort for those around them. Her posture and actions suggest a deliberate effort to draw attention to herself, possibly to showcase her jewelry or simply to be the focal point of the moment. The pattern of Meghan's behavior extends to other public appearances where her need to assert dominance and control is evident. In one instance, as Harry is about to greet a group of people, Meghan's constant physical presence and manipulative gestures disrupt the interaction. Her aggressive smile and scanning of the room, combined with her attempt to involve herself in the conversation, led to an uncomfortable dynamic. Harry's expression, including a notable glare, indicates his annoyance with Meghan's interference. This moment highlights Meghan's tendency to overshadow Harry and insert herself into situations where she might not be the primary focus. Additionally, Meghan's behavior towards others has sometimes been less than gracious. For instance, during a polo match, she displayed rudeness towards Dr. Sophie, the chair of the charity hosting the event, despite Dr. Sophie's high-standing status. This instance reinforces the notion that Meghan's demeanor is not necessarily influenced by the social status of those around her, but rather by her own desire for control and prominence. One particular moment from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's public appearances that have drawn criticism involves Meghan's reaction to a gift presented by a school child. In the video capturing this moment, Meghan's initial reaction to the gift seems polite, but as the interaction progresses, her true feelings become apparent. Towards the end of the clip, Meghan's mask slips, revealing a noticeable lack of interest and even disgust towards the gift. This reaction is both telling and unsettling, as it contrasts sharply with the expected demeanor of someone engaged in a public role that requires genuine appreciation and respect for the gestures of others. The incident highlights a recurring issue with Meghan's public persona, her difficulty in concealing her true feelings when faced with situations that do not align with her interests or expectations. Her reaction to the gift, perceived as dismissive and ungrateful, has sparked discussions about her authenticity and approach to her engagements. Such moments of unfiltered behavior undermine the image of warmth and empathy that public figures are often expected to project, raising questions about Meghan's commitment to her role and her interactions with the public. In addition to this problematic moment, another significant issue has emerged from Harry and Meghan's recent activities in Lagos. It has been revealed that their visit to Nigeria was facilitated by Dr. Alan Onyema, a controversial figure with a criminal background. Dr. Onyema, the founder and CEO of Air Peace, the Nigerian airline that transported Harry and Meghan during their 3-day tour, is wanted in the United States on charges of money laundering and bank fraud involving $20 million. This association has sparked outrage and concern as it involves a fugitive from U.S. justice. The revelation that Dr. Onyema played a role in facilitating the couple's travel has been described as scandalous. It raises serious questions about the vetting process and the due diligence exercised by Harry and Meghan's team in selecting their sponsors and partners. The connection with a wanted fugitive not only casts a shadow over their visit, but also suggests a troubling lapse in judgment. For public figures like Harry and Meghan, whose every move is scrutinized, such associations can significantly impact their reputation and credibility. Had the situation involved other prominent figures, such as William and Catherine, it is likely that the media would have responded with intense scrutiny and criticism. The contrast in reactions to such associations underscores a perceived double standard in media coverage. While Meghan and Harry have remained relatively silent on this issue, the same situation involving other royals would likely have elicited widespread press coverage and condemnation. In recent appearances, both Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have faced criticism for their handling of various issues and their overall approach to public engagements. One notable instance involves Harry's support for African Parks, a conservation organization, amid controversy surrounding the treatment of the Baka people by African Parks hired guards. Despite attending a dinner to support the organization, Harry has remained notably silent about the serious allegations of violence and abuse faced by the Baka community. This silence, especially in light of the ongoing scandal, has led many to question the authenticity of his commitment to the causes he publicly endorses. Harry's lack of response has been particularly glaring given the substantial time that has passed since the allegations first surfaced. This reticence has fueled speculation that he and Meghan are more concerned with maintaining favorable public relations rather than addressing uncomfortable or contentious issues. Their silence on such matters suggests a selective approach to advocacy, where the focus is on issues that are likely to garner positive attention rather than those that may require difficult conversations and real action. In addition to their handling of the African Parks scandal, Harry and Meghan's public statements about mental health have also drawn criticism. During their visit to the Light Academy, their speeches on mental health were criticized for being overly simplistic and lacking depth. Their repeated emphasis on phrases like, "This is your story," and "It's okay not to be okay," has been described as generic and uninspired. Critics argue that such statements, while well-meaning, fail to offer meaningful insight or practical advice on mental health. The repetition of these phrases, seen as cliché by many, reflects a broader issue of celebrities offering superficial commentary on important issues without providing substantive support or guidance. Harry's attempt to engage the students with a question about recognizing when a friend is not smiling was met with skepticism. The question, framed as a groundbreaking inquiry, seemed to miss the mark in terms of offering real value or insight. His pause for applause and Meghan's supportive, albeit awkward, commentary. "Har har. Did you see why I married him? He's so smart," added to the sense of inauthenticity. The interaction felt more like a rehearsed performance rather than a genuine effort to connect with the students. Meghan's contribution to the conversation included an anecdote about their daughter Lily seeing her reflection in Meghan's eyes, which she used as an inspirational story. This account, which many found overly sentimental and lacking in substance, seemed to further detract from the seriousness of the mental health discussion. The story, presented as a profound moment, was criticized for being trivial and disconnected from the real issues at hand. The overall impression of Harry and Meghan's engagement in these events is superficial and lacks depth. Their approach to mental health, in particular, has been seen as a missed opportunity to provide meaningful support and understanding. Their focus on delivering polished yet insubstantial messages reflects a broader criticism that public figures often fall short of addressing complex issues with the depth and seriousness they require. This is probably one of the most notable events of Harry and Meghan. The recent trip to Nigeria by Meghan Markle and Prince Harry ended on a notably controversial note, with the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, publicly critiquing Meghan's attire and behavior during the visit. The comments made by Senator Tinubu, wife of President Bola Tinubu, have drawn considerable attention and sparked a debate about cultural sensitivity and appropriateness. During a speech addressed to a Nigerian audience, Senator Tinubu made pointed remarks about the need for modesty and the dangers of emulating American celebrities. Her comments were widely interpreted as a direct response to Meghan Markle's wardrobe choices during her trip. Tinubu emphasized that young people should dress modestly and be proud of their own cultural identity rather than imitating the often revealing fashion seen in American celebrities. She remarked, "We have to salvage our children. We see the way they dress. They keep forgetting that we are beautiful in Nigeria. The moment you can see what they showcased on the stage, I said, we are fashionable." The criticism was further sharpened by Tinubu's indirect reference to Meghan's visit. Meghan had been seen wearing a backless dress at a school, a tube top at a professional lunch, and a beach dress at various events during her trip. This attire, which contrasted sharply with local norms and expectations, seemed to have caught the attention of the Nigerian First Lady. Tinubu's statement that American film stars don't know where they come from, and questioning why Meghan came here looking for Africa, appeared to underscore her disapproval of Meghan's fashion choices and perceived lack of cultural sensitivity. The situation was further complicated by the fact that neither President Bola Tinubu nor his wife made an official appearance to greet Meghan and Harry during their visit. This omission suggested a certain level of irritation or disapproval regarding their presence and conduct. The choice of attire by Meghan, particularly in settings where modesty is highly valued, seemed to exacerbate the situation and contribute to the backlash. Senator Tinubu's comments, "We see the way they dress, so we have to do something. It's not beautiful at all, and they're all beautiful girls," reflect a broader sentiment about the clash between Western fashion trends and traditional Nigerian values. The public rebuke highlighted a significant cultural divide and suggested that Meghan's attempt to present herself in a certain way was seen as disrespectful or inappropriate by some local observers. Adding fuel to the fire, Meghan and Harry have continued to express dissatisfaction with their treatment by the royal family, even as their own media presence falters. According to People magazine, the couple was reportedly snubbed from Trooping the Color for the second consecutive year. This exclusion has been portrayed by Meghan and Harry's publicists as a slight further fueling their ongoing grievances against the monarchy. The use of the term "not invited" rather than "not attending" underscores their attempt to frame this as a deliberate snub rather than a consequence of their estrangement from royal duties. Their trip to Nigeria was meant to boost their public image and support their charitable endeavors, but it seems to have had the opposite effect. Despite their high-profile visit, Meghan and Harry's Netflix docuseries, Harry and Meghan, has seen a dramatic decline in viewership. After an impressive debut, garnering 81.6 million hours viewed in its first 4 days, the series' popularity swiftly plummeted. By mid-2023, the series had slumped to number 201 on Netflix's global chart, far behind the success of the Beckham documentary, which hit number 1 with 43.9 million views between July and December. This decline in interest has exacerbated public criticism. The Daily Mail's commentary on the situation, describing the series as a letdown compared to the Beckham's documentary, underscores the broader perception of Harry and Meghan's media ventures as lackluster. The comparison highlights the stark contrast between the success of other celebrity projects and the perceived failure of the Sussexes' content. Additionally, Meghan's recent interactions, including a letter to the Yoruba king where she failed to mention Harry and signed off with her Duchess of Sussex title, have raised eyebrows. This incident, coupled with the couple's involvement with Princess Anne's charity, Save the Children, while still presenting themselves as working royals, has been viewed as another instance of them overstepping boundaries. Their donation of $10,000 to the charity has been overshadowed by these controversies. In the aftermath of these events, the call for the removal of their Duke and Duchess titles has gained traction, reflecting a broader sentiment of dissatisfaction with how the couple has navigated their royal and public roles. Critics argue that their actions undermine the dignity and traditions of the British monarchy. Don't forget the Pat Tillman Award backlash from Harry and Meghan. Harry's reception of the Pat Tillman Award for service from ESPN has sparked significant backlash, revealing deeper issues with how he and Meghan handle public perception and criticism. The Pat Tillman Award, named after the American football player who left a lucrative career to serve in the U.S. Army after 9/11, is meant to honor individuals who demonstrate exceptional service and sacrifice. Given Pat Tillman's legacy, which emphasizes selflessness and patriotism, Harry's receipt of the award was controversial from the start, especially considering past recipients have typically been less prominent figures and more focused on genuine service rather than celebrity. The backlash intensified when Mary Tillman, Pat Tillman's mother, publicly expressed her disapproval of Harry receiving the award. She argued that there were more deserving candidates and described Harry as a controversial and divisive figure, which only added to the controversy. Her disapproval was particularly impactful because it highlighted a disconnect between the intentions of the Pat Tillman Foundation and the selection of its awardees, underscoring concerns about Harry's suitability for such a prestigious honor given his royal background and the ongoing scrutiny of his actions and motives. Adding to the complexity of the situation was Harry's reaction to the criticism. His speech at the award ceremony included a comment that seemed to undermine Mary Tillman's disapproval. By emphasizing that the Tillman Foundation is not run by her and praising the foundation's leadership, Harry appeared to sidestep the criticism rather than addressing it directly. His reference to the bond between a mother and son, alongside personal mentions of his late mother, Princess Diana, seemed to many as a way to subtly deflect the negative attention rather than engage with it constructively. This incident underscores a recurring issue with Harry and Meghan, which might be described as a can't learn from past mistakes disorder. This disorder is characterized by their tendency to repeat the same strategies and behaviors while expecting different outcomes, a pattern that has been evident in their public and media interactions. Despite numerous controversies and criticisms, they often persist in actions that seem to provoke further backlash rather than resolve existing issues. For instance, the couple's approach to addressing their public and media challenges often involves continuing to engage in high-profile projects and making bold statements without adequately addressing or learning from previous criticisms. Their decision to accept an award that was highly contentious, coupled with a dismissive response to the legitimate concerns raised, reflects a broader pattern of reacting defensively rather than adaptively. Queen Elizabeth II, known for her diplomatic and measured approach, likely understood the pitfalls of such behavior. Her long reign was marked by a careful balance of maintaining royal traditions while navigating the complexities of public life. In contrast, Harry and Meghan's approach appears to lack this nuanced understanding, resulting in repeated public relations blunders. What do you think about Harry and Meghan Markle's embarrassing moments? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.